Part 45. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 445. D'Argu. Big deal, a staff member hurried into the research room and took out a test result in his hand. D'Argu took it and checked it immediately. The staff member said quickly, D'Argu, from the test results of the volunteers, 3 of the 10 volunteers did not fall asleep after listening to the song. What is the physical and mental condition of the volunteers who did not fall asleep? D'Argu asked. Their answers are all written in the results. The staff member pointed to the test result document in Dr. Shitani's hand. D'Argu looked directly at the final questionnaire. I feel like I suddenly figured out a problem that I had struggled with for a long time. I had a fight with my wife last week, and I'm still in a cold war. I think she's being unreasonable. Now after listening to the song, I've figured it out. How can I, a grown man, quarrel with my wife? It's all my fault. My wife used to be the school beauty. She doesn't dislike my low background. She gave up many pursuits of people with better conditions than me, and worked hard with me all the way. I miss my wife. I will go back to admit my mistake after work and kneel on the keyboard. D'Argu from an older single elite woman. D'Argu, who had eaten a meal of dog food for no reason, remembered this person's name with an expressionless face. He. Dong Chuan, right? Next time you meet your wife, be sure to talk to her about the word unreasonable. D'Argu finished the follow-up questionnaire, focusing on the 3 volunteers who did not fall asleep. The general feeling is that after listening to the song, I become more transparent, the tangled things are no longer entangled, the knots in my heart are untied, and some negative emotions are eliminated. However, the difference between these results and the feelings of the sleep-deprived group of people is not very large. After all, the people working in the mysterious bureau were not treacherous and evil people, and they did not reflect the effect of Sutingyu's second professional talent very well. However, even though D'Argu didn't know the inside story, she thought of the first point. She closed the document and ordered, apply to the superiors to deploy a few serious prisoners. It would be better if there are psychopathic prisoners. Okay, D'Argu. D'Argu asked, the survey results will be kept confidential for now. Have the volunteers signed a confidentiality agreement? It's been signed, the same caliber, they were all hypnotized. Well, you go down and do your work first. D'Argu thought for a moment and took the results to the waiting room. Sutingyu was inside watching TV and catching up on dramas, drinking drinks, and eating melon seeds. D'Argu, are the results out? Sutingyu caught a glimpse of D'Argu from the corner of his eye and asked casually. However, my heart gradually started to lift. D'Argu handed the test result file to Sutingyu. Did you feel anything wrong during this time? Among the test results, 3 volunteers were not hypnotized by you. Really? Sutingyu looked surprised, and then found the song fragments that the 3 volunteers listened to. A glint flashed in Sutingyu's eyes. It's the part of the song where I used my talent. Not hypnotized. In other words, as long as she uses her second career talent, she can get rid of the situation where she can hypnotize creatures when she sings. Can she control whether she performs hypnosis through her second career talent? I'm not too sure either. For a moment, Sutingyu wanted to reveal the story of the game. Perhaps, there are also players in the mysterious bureau. Perhaps, the top leaders of the country have realized the existence of parallel paradise. Forget it, let's wait a little longer. The situation is unclear now, and the mystery bureau is a mixed bag, so it's not appropriate to rush into talking about the game. Suddenly, Sutingyu thought of a suitable place. There. It should be okay. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 446. In a remote countryside, on the bank of a small river, a man was lying on a relatively high slope, with soft grass beneath him. He had a straw hat on his face, as if he was dozing off. On the river in front of him, a fishing rod's line was put into the water, and the rod head was fixed with a bracket. The water was calm and there was no fluctuation. An ox cart drove slowly by the roadside. When the farmer driving the car saw the figure by the river, he shouted loudly, "Hey Xiao, the strawberries you just picked are very fresh. Do you want some?" "Want?" The straw hat fell on the grass, and a figure trotted over and took the vegetable basket handed by the farmer, which contained a basket full of strawberries. "Thank you, uncle." The man bent down to thank him. He looked to be in his 20s, his skin color was a healthy wheat color, and although his facial features were not very handsome, the combination gave him a feeling that he was easy to get along with. "No thanks, I'm leaving." "Okay." The man returned to the river, reached out and pulled down the fishing rod, and suddenly said, "Oops, I forgot to put the bait again, no wonder I didn't see a fish for a long time. I've been out for an hour, it's time to go back." The man murmured to himself and began to pack his belongings. White smoke was already rising over a farmhouse in the distance. The man did not go there, but plunged into the mountain. Deep in the mountains, at some point, a mountain has been hollowed out, and various rooms and tunnels have been built inside. After the man brushed his face and came in at a secret entrance, there was a door frame, and behind the door frame was a staircase leading down. On the left side of the door frame, there is a sign of Chengliang nailed, with a few words on it. Institute of Non-Order. The man entered the leisure hall of the institute. On the sofa facing the TV, sat a woman with long hair and a delicate face. She was about 20 years old. The woman was just wearing loose pajamas, with her legs crossed on the sofa. There were many snacks piled in her arms, next to the sofa, and on the coffee table in front of her, of which candies were the most numerous. "I'm back." The man turned around and went into the small kitchen. He poured the strawberries out of the basket, washed them with water from the faucet, and boiled them in hot water for a while. Finally, he poured them into the fruit bowl, took them out, and placed them on the coffee table. Superior. As soon as the woman saw the strawberry, she stretched out her hand to grab one, put it in her mouth, smashed it and ate it. "Jipuyu, where is the fish?" "I didn't catch it." Siepuyu thought of her fishing rod without bait and replied calmly, "I didn't see any fish today. I'll try to catch another day." The woman heard the words and shook her head. "Siepuyu, I mean fish." Siepuyu was stunned for half a second before reacting, "I'm not here. You know, that guy is worse than you and can't stand the poor life in the mountains." "Oh." The woman seemed a little disappointed, and she stuffed 2 more strawberries into her mouth, smashing them. "How about I take you to play with that guy?" Siepuyu sat next to the woman and reached out to rub the latter's head. The woman tilted her head and refused. "Siepuyu, there are many people in the city, so I won't go." "Okay then." Siepuyu was not surprised at all by this answer. There are very few non-order members, and they are basically around 10 to 30 years old. Most of them are sent out and scattered around the country. The woman was left behind because of her special situation, and Siepuyu voluntarily stayed with her. Siepuyu stood up, turned around and walked into a room. The woman, whose eyes had never left the TV, quietly looked towards the room, then huddled up in a ball, like a little hedgehog huddled on the sofa. Within 10 seconds, the speechless roar of Jipuyu came from the room. "Shang Guanlian! Why did you dismantle the equipment again? This is new equipment. It costs tens of millions of soft girl coins." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a Bug in a Survival Game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 447. 5 minutes later. Shang Guanlian reluctantly turned off the TV, sat on the carpeted floor, and began to assemble the equipment parts that she had dismantled, muttering in a low voice. No compensation, no compensation, no compensation. Siepwea brought a document she had just received, came over to sit down, and talked to Guanlian about the contents of the document. As of June, the number of new players known to have reached more than 4,000 in China. This does not include players who are hidden and do not even leave messages on the forum. Hurry up and put it on, I'll sell it to you by the pound if it's useless. Siepwea glanced at Shang Guanlian's hand slowing down and said coldly. Shang Guanlian immediately speeded up again. Soon, the core parts of the equipment were assembled in pieces. If you don't want to sell it, don't sell it, don't sell it. Have you been spending more time invading the panel system recently? Siepwea watched Shang Guanlian assemble the equipment bit by bit. Shang Guanlian, it's still 3 seconds. Hearing this, Siepwea picked up a strawberry on the fruit plate next to her and handed it to Shang Guanlian's mouth. You can hack into ordinary machines and equipment for 3 minutes. This parallel paradise is a bit difficult. What about you, have you deduced its origin? Shang Guanlian opened his mouth, took the strawberry in his mouth, and smashed it. No, I only have 20 seconds at most, but, I just deduced a new piece of information by the river. Siepwea also fed herself a strawberry. What new information? Shang Guanlian tilted his head. Where's my computer? You're not going to dismantle it again, are you? Siepwea just went to the office area to look around, but she couldn't find her computer. Shang Guanlian blinked twice stiffly. Siepwea looked indifferent. Don't blink, you can't learn how to act innocent like that guy. No, don't be a bad example. The fish is not bad. Shang Guanlian muttered in a low voice, and then suddenly jumped up like a little spring and trotted to his room. When he came out, he was holding a laptop in his hand. Give. Shang Guanlian handed it over. Did you dismantle it again? Siepwea took it, turned on the computer, and entered it in 2 seconds. No. Siepwea was too lazy to argue anymore. After opening the safe channel, he first wrote the information he found in a document, and then sent it through a chat software that did not exist on the market. When Shang Guanlian finished eating the strawberries and remembered to come over to take a look, Siepwea had already finished sending them out. Then, Shang Guanlian looked at Siepwea. Siepwea, game internal testing, you are familiar with it? Shang Guanlian nodded. So far, every player who has just entered the game has been informed of his identity, an internal beta player. This game also has a public beta, the time is unknown. Siepwea's face was deep. This is not good news. Now it is only an internal beta test of the game, with 200,000 players around the world entering the game, and every month the players who were consumed in the previous month will be replenished. What about the open beta of the game? What will happen? Is it an increase in the total number of players, or will it completely affect humans around the world? At the time of the game's public beta, Siepwea had not been able to reason yet. The two received instructions from above at the end of March to study the parallel paradise. Of course, they are not the only ones who are secretly researching and trying to understand the parallel paradise. Maybe others have made other discoveries. When Siepwea sends herself out, a dedicated person will integrate all the information to deduce more information. Oh, that's it. Shang Guanlian pointed at the computer screen, there's news. Siepwea turned around and saw that only a date was sent. 9.1. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 448. By the time Sotingyu returned to Gu's Manor, it was already approaching 7 o'clock in the evening. After returning, Sotingyu finally met Qin Chi and others who had produced a copy. Big fish. Boss, you're back. Just in time for dinner. Wei Chu was also in the room. He smiled shyly at Sotingyu and said, "Hello, Sister Su. I finally saw you." Sutingyu walked over and immediately wanted to pinch Qin Chi's face. It still feels so spicy. That's right, Xiaozu, please go out first. Sutingyu wanted to ask about the career dungeon, but Wei Chu, an outsider present, had no choice but to ask someone to go out first. Okay, Sister Su, Wei Chu responded. You two talk slowly, don't be in a hurry. Xiaozu and I will go out to get dinner. The fat man smiled and put his arm around Wei Chu's shoulders, looked at the two of them with a playful look, and then went out with Wei Chu. The fat man closed the door and turned around to see Wei Chu looking at him curiously. Brother Feng, Sister Su, and Brother Qin. The fat man hissed and smiled. I understand everything, no need to say it again. Oh, okay, Wei Chu, a 17-year-old rural boy, looked confused. The situation of Sister Su and Brother Qin seems to be a bit like Uncle Lin and sister-in-law Lin in the village. Every time Uncle Lin comes back from the county town, in those few days, children like them cannot go to the Lin family to find sister-in-law Lin. Wei Chu was so curious once that he secretly went to the corner of the wall, only to see that the rooms of Lin Babalin and his sister-in-law were closed and the windows were closed. At this time, inside the room, Sutingyu took off her shoes and climbed onto the bed humming. Kikai, I entered the career dungeon this time and got a career. Well, how do you feel? Qin Chi asked. Sutingyu blinked her big eyes and expressed her biggest feeling, it feels like a real world. The people in it are not like NPCs set in the game, but are flesh and blood. Sutingyu couldn't help but think of Master Glenn, and felt a little melancholy in her heart. If that is a real world. Qin Chi looked down at the red panda and said quietly, the professional dungeon I entered before also gave me this feeling, which is very different from ordinary dungeons. Sutingyu stretched out her finger and poked the red panda on the head. Kikai, assuming that the world of professional dungeons is real, then this parallel paradise can allow our consciousness to travel to another world, and the energy behind it, there are hundreds of millions of people, it's terrifying. Kikai, that big gray, and the residents of Angel Apartment, are they real lives or game data? Sutingyu suddenly realized such a problem. If Big Gray and the others are real lives, or were real lives in the past, then a mere game prop can confine them inside, and they cannot come out without the consent of the holder. To a certain extent, they are like puppets on strings, being manipulated at will. So, does that mean that one day players may also? It's scary to think about it. Sutingyu felt a little cold in her arms inexplicably, and quickly stuffed herself into Qin Chi's bed. Accidentally, Sutingyu touched Qin Chi's warm thigh. Although Qin Chi has no feeling in his legs, he can see it. Big fish, you. Qin Chi blinked and looked at Sutingyu with some confusion. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 449. Ahem, my hand suddenly felt cold after Sutingyu stuffed it in, she immediately regretted it, but when she hurriedly took it out, she seemed to have done something shameless, and then the deputy showed a very guilty conscience. Is it cold outside? Qin Chi turned to look out the window. It's only mid-June now, it should be a hotter time, right? Or is the air conditioning temperature in the room too low? Ahem, Kikai, where did we talk about the professional dungeon? Just a Y and the others. Sutingyu took advantage of the brief moment when Qin Chi turned around and quickly withdrew his hand. Qin Chi thought for a while and said, not sure, but they all appear in ordinary copies. What Qin Chi means is that he is more biased towards Big Gray. They are just game data, not real lives. I'll enter a few more career dungeons later, and slowly, I should be able to figure out the reasons behind this, right? Sutingyu didn't forget that there were two types of tokens in her inventory. Kikai, I have already obtained a career, can I still obtain a second career? I don't know. Qin Chi shook his head slightly. Theoretically, it is possible, because the professional dungeon does not exclude players who already have professions from entering, but In a career dungeon, if the gap between the progress of the main mission and the progress of various tasks between players who already have a career and players who do not have a career is not too huge, it will often be easier for the latter to obtain a new career. Currently, there have been no dual professional players. It may be that dual professional players have not been exposed. Sutingyu looked astonished. Is that so? In other words, after obtaining the first occupation, the difficulty of obtaining subsequent occupations will be greatly increased? She has two types of tokens, so she shouldn't be so unlucky that she can't get a career even after entering 2 rounds of career dungeons, right? By the way, Kikai, there is a destiny code fragment in the reward settlement of the Angel Apartment copy. What is that? Qin-Chi shook his head slightly. I only know that this game item usually appears when you crack the world view or clear the professional dungeon. How about you go ask Gucci? He manages a big alliance after all, and he has better information than me. Qin-Chi glanced at the red panda's ears, his voice was gentle. Sutingyu nodded, yes. Wait a minute. Sutingyu felt something was wrong and hesitated for a few seconds. Suddenly, she stared straight at Qin-Chi and grinned, Kikai. Qin-Chi didn't know why. What's wrong? Why do I feel that Kikai is not angry with Guju? Sutingyu said in a teasing tone. Qin-Chi looked startled. Where, there is no life. The ears of the red panda. Sutingyu's eyes moved down and landed on the ears of the red panda who was held in Qin-Chi's arms. Not angry. Really? Sutingyu didn't believe it. Great, if Kikai says no, then it means no. Sutingyu secretly breathed a sigh of relief for Gucci. Come on. This can be considered as coaxing people, right? The efficiency is really poor. Sutingyu was quite curious, so she left a dungeon to find out what happened between them. Does the fat man know? Kikai, is your birthday on July 7th next month? Sutingyu suddenly remembered this matter. When investigating Qin-Chi's identity previously, Sutingyu remembered it because the numbers of his birthdays coincided with each other, making them particularly easy to remember. Yes, what's wrong? Qin-Chi asked doubtfully. Sutingyu quickly shook his head. It's okay, it's okay. July 7th, I'm a little pressed for time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 450. The fat man picked the right time, and it was just right. After Sutingyu and Qin-Chi had finished chatting, they brought dinner in with Wei Chu. There is a table in the room, enough for 3 or 4 people to dine at the same time. Because Qin-Chi couldn't move around easily, Sutingyu and Fatty ate with Qin-Chi in the room. Come on, tonight's dinner is going to be sumptuous. The fat man greeted with a smile after placing the food. Sutingyu brought a folding table, pushed the legs aside, and placed it in front of Qin-Chi. You guys eat first, and I'll feed Kikai, Sutingyu said, sitting on the edge of the bed. Okay. The fat man brought Qin-Chi's portion of the meal and placed it on the folding table. Then, he turned back and ate with Wei Chu. After dinner, Sutingyu was ready to go find Gu. Qin-Chi thought that Sutingyu had gone to ask about the fate code fragments, so he didn't pay much attention. Sutingyu walked to the door of Guqi's study. When she stretched her head, she saw that Guqi and Chibubi seemed to be saying something inside, so she waited at the door for about 10 minutes. After Chibubi came out, he smiled kindly and said, Miss Su is here to see me. I just have nothing to do now. Oh. Sutingyu walked in and Guqi glanced at her. What's the matter? Guqi originally thought that Sutingyu came to ask about career dungeons, but unexpectedly, the first sentence Sutingyu said was, Guju, Kikai's birthday is coming soon. Hearing this, Guqi paused slightly while flipping through the documents. Child's birthday. Ahem, I know Kikai should have more than 300,000 game coins. Don't ask me how I know it, I just know it. Sutinyu raised his head proudly. Gucci closed the document, threw it on the table, and said in a cool tone, "What do you want to say?" He Sutinyu stopped talking and explained the purpose of his visit. Isn't the price of the dream repair agent more than 800,000 game coins? If the batch of game props I handed over to Scene to exchange were all turned into game coins, we should be able to help Kikai collect 888,888 game coins, right? Just treat it as a gift, give him a birthday present. But it feels a bit difficult, so it's such a good thing to make Kikai happy. I'm here to recruit you. You are a powerful person in the major league, and your private wealth should have 100,000 or 80,000 game coins, right? After finishing speaking, Sutinyu blinked his big eyes and looked at Gucci. Are you willing? Gucci asked. Sutinyu and Qin are not relatives, they are just friends they met in the game. Can he really spend his game currency for Qin now? Suting put his crotch on his waist and said matter-of-factly, what is there to be reluctant to part with? It's just game currency. I want Kikai to stand up again in reality, that's all. Okay. By the time Sutinyu came back, half an hour had passed. Qin asked, how is it? Ah, you said fragments, Gucci is not very sure. In short, it's just extraordinary. Sutinyu blinked his big eyes. She forgot to ask this question. They were all discussing how to get the remaining 600,000 game coins. Although Gucci is the person in charge of Seeing, he cannot withdraw Seeing's internal funds at will, but he can spend his own game currency as he pleases. Gucci can provide more than 200,000 game coins here. Adding in the more than 200,000 Sutinyu currently has, it is almost 500,000. Plus Qin's own game currency, it should be enough. But, this is a birthday gift for Qin, which can save him some 300,000 yuan. Sutinyu plans to lower the prices of his batch of game props, as long as they can be turned into game currency. A few hours later, when it was almost time to take a bath and go to bed, Sutinyu said goodbye to Qin and returned to his room. Sleep. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuanke. Chapter 451. Late at night, 3 o'clock. Sutinyu woke up from the suffocation and hurriedly went to the toilet. After coming out, Sutinyu touched his flat belly and opened his mouth. Suddenly he felt a little greedy and wanted to eat. Sutinyu trotted out of the room. When going down the stairs, Sutinyu kept rubbing her hands, thinking about what snacks to get in the refrigerator. Just when Sutinyu was about to go down to the first floor, he suddenly noticed that the light was on in the kitchen. Outside the kitchen, a figure stood in front of the refrigerator leaning against the wall. The man opened the refrigerator, took out a large piece of food, and stuffed it directly into his mouth, as if he hadn't had a full meal in several days. Just like a hungry ghost reincarnated. Huh. Sutinyu blinked his big eyes, and after staring for a few seconds, he saw the man's face clearly. Piggy. He came to dig through the refrigerator no matter what, and his attitude didn't look like he was greedy. Sutinyu walked over and said, Xiaozu, what are you doing? Are you not full for dinner? Sister Su. I'm just hungry. Wei Chu turned his head suddenly. When he saw Sutinyu, his eyes wandered and he spoke hesitantly. Oh, Sutinyu also took out some snacks and drinks from the refrigerator. Eat slowly and don't choke. The security of the manor will be stronger at night. Don't walk around casually. For those who don't know, I thought there was a thief in the middle of the night. You can take snacks back to your room to eat. Okay, Sister Su. Wei Chu watched Sutinyu's figure disappear completely on the stairs, and then he quietly breathed a sigh of relief. When Sutinyu returned to the room, her nose wrinkled. Xiaozu feels like this because he hasn't slept well for a few days. His voice is a little weak. Sutingyu thought about it secretly for a while eating snacks. In the end, Sutingyu felt sleepy. After brushing his teeth again, Sutingyu fell asleep. In Wei Chu's room. Wei Chu, who had brought a pile of food, felt his stomach bloated after eating for a while. Wei Chu touched his belly and murmured, "That's right, what went in, wasn't my real body, so naturally I won't be very hungry." But when he first came out, Wei Chu couldn't help but look for food. Wei Chu thought, and a translucent panel appeared in front of him. Looking at the panel, Wei Chu scratched his head in pain. What on earth is this thing? Wei Chu no longer felt sleepy. Although I was very tired, I still managed to learn about the panel. You have to enter a dungeon within 7 days? Is it so troublesome? Wei Chu frowned, but when he saw that he could choose the time to enter the dungeon within 7 days, he was slightly relieved. This is okay. Otherwise, if he stays with the boss and disappears at every turn, he will be discovered sooner or later. In that case, it would affect my work too much. What if my boss fires me? Wei Chu also wanted to make money. He would go home during the summer vacation and buy some gifts for the folks. Dragon Boat Festival copy? It sounds very dangerous. Forget it, I won't participate. Am I a player in the 4th batch? Are there other players in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd batches? There are no game coins in this copy, will your life be in danger? When Wei Chu discovered this, his expression became slightly serious. Then, will some of the villagers in the village be drawn into this game? Are they also in danger? This game will kill Uncle Li, Aunt Zhao, Granny Wu, Go Sheng, Xiao Shitu. Wei Chu was thinking so hard that he didn't notice that the look in his eyes as he looked at the panel system became more and more dangerous, as if it was filled with ice and quenched with poison. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 452. Master Su, good night. Shan Yu turned off the video call, and the smile on his face disappeared instantly. Tisk, man. They are all a bunch of disgusting lower body rubbish. Shan Yu stood up and walked into the hotel bathroom. Just now, this date was over. Shan Yu was sent to this hotel by Su Binhua. When they parted, the latter kept hinting in his words. Shan Yu pretended not to understand, but Su Binhua had no choice but to leave in order to maintain his image as a gentleman. It was Su Binhua who took the initiative to make a WeChat video call just now. What he said was euphemistically called, reporting to his wife. Shan Yu endured his nausea and quickly sent him away. Shan Yu washed his face, raised his head, and his eyes fell on the beautiful face in the mirror. He slowly stretched out his hand and touched his face. Why? Shan Yu had wanted to destroy this face countless times. Because she thought several times that without this face, she would not have experienced those disgusting things. But later, without exception, Shan Yu gave up. She hates ugly and disgusting things. I only have one face to look at, so why bother wearing an ugly face every day to hurt my eyes? Moreover, without this face, in the eyes of the Liang family and his son, the only possible use value would be gone. Tisk Shan Yu looked at himself in the mirror and raised his lips slightly. I can't help it, sister is so beautiful. A group of garbage. After Shan Yu came out, he looked at the computer on the bed and saw that someone had sent a video. Shan Yu opened the video and saw that it was the surveillance camera of the restaurant where he took Su Binhua to at noon. Su Binhua may not have thought that that restaurant was actually opened by Shan Yu without telling the Liang family. Shan Yu sat on the bed and watched the video content expressionlessly. This is a video of a meal. When Shan Yu saw a call from Su Binhua, he made an excuse to go to the bathroom. Su Binhua was the only one in the private room, so he simply ordered the hands-free delivery. Hey, who is it? Master Su? I heard that you went on a blind date today. You are also a big star? How is it? That's it in the video. Su Binhua seemed to have changed his face. He looks good and has a good figure, but he is just an actor, so he probably slept to death. Ha ha ha, Master Su, aren't you just good at this? When did you get tired of playing and let the brothers play too? Okay, Su Binhua was extremely generous, as if Shan Yu was already in his possession. Let's deal with the Liang family first, get engaged, and make it more legitimate, and then delay the time, and then get married in 2 years or something like that. Ha ha ha, 2 years is so long. I'm afraid that Mr. Su won't even be willing to break off the engagement. Fart, for that kind of thing, just give her the title of fiancé. Not everyone can take the position of the eldest mistress of the Su family. After Shan Yu watched the video, he did not feel angry, but instead laughed. Tisk, it seems that the old fox's plan to embrace the Su family has been ruined. And with this kind of stuff, if the Su family was really handed over to him in the future, they would probably go bankrupt in a few days. Shan Yu closed the computer and went to the dressing table to start skincare. Since she was idle anyway, Shan Yu opened the panel and saw Su Tingyu agreeing to her friend application. It was already so late, so Shan Yu didn't talk about anything and just transferred the 650 game coins. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 453. Qin Family. When Qin Shen received the news that his workaholic brother had returned home, he rushed back from the bar without stopping. In Qin Ding's study. Brother, have you found out who took Qin Lin away? Qin Shen asked anxiously as soon as he broke in. So many days have passed and there is still no news. Qin Shen originally thought that he would get the news quickly as soon as he told his brother. Stop worrying about this matter. If Qin Lin disappears, he will disappear. Regarding this matter, Qin Ding looked like he didn't want to talk about it in depth, and was still working on a document on cooperation with the Gu family. The Qin family attaches great importance to this cooperation. That's the Gu family. Although Qin Ding had also wondered why the Gu family would put down their dignity and cooperate with the Qin family, which was already in decline, to develop a new project, but the interests came first, and the Qin family and others ignored this slight mistake. Brother, find Qin Lin quickly. Qin Shen felt unwilling. That's enough. Qin Ding slapped the table. Controller, Qin Shen. Do you think I didn't check? But the Qin family just checked the identities of the 2 people who took Qin Lin away. There was just a hint of one person's identity, but the information was inexplicably lost midway. When I checked these 2 people later, it's like they've disappeared from the world and nothing can be found. Qin Shen's eyes widened. How is that possible? So I ask you to restrain yourself and stop thinking about Qin Lin. Qin Ding softened his tone. It's better for me to hide your special hobby from your father. But now, if you don't want me to mention it to your father, and just stop worrying about this matter and just pretend that Qin Lin doesn't exist at all. Yes. When Qin Shen heard his father, he was like a deflated ball. I still have company affairs to deal with. You should leave first. Qin Ding chased him away. After Qin Shen came out of the study, the more he thought about it, the more unwilling he became. Instead of staying at home, he went straight back to the bar. After getting drunk at the bar, Qin Shen fell in love with a bar girl and directly took her to get a room. The bar girl was still resisting at first, but when Qin Shen casually threw out a bank card without a password, the bar girl stopped struggling. After a ridiculous night in a nearby small hotel, Qin Shen woke up quietly at 3 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. When Qin Shen woke up, his whole body was naked and his head hurt very much. The bar girl took the money and left long ago. Qin Shen found his cell phone, found a friend's phone number, and called him. No one answered for several minutes. What happened? Qin Shen changed his number, and this time it was a direct message that the other party had blacklisted you. What a bastard! You dare to blackmail me. It's bad luck. Qin Shen searched for more than a dozen numbers and got the same answer. At this moment, Qin Shen finally realized that something was wrong. Finally, he dialed a number. Before Qin Shen could speak, the other party said, "Qin Shen, why are you calling? I won't lend you money." Before Qin Shen could react, the other party immediately hung up. When Qin Shen called again, he found that the other party had turned off his phone. When Qin Shen was full of doubts and put on wrinkled clothes and walked out of the small hotel, someone threw a bank card in front of him. Immediately, a sharp female voice sounded, "Bah! Use a frozen card to trick me into sleeping with you. Are you shameless?" Many people came and went in and out of the hotel. When they heard this, they all stopped to eat. Qin Shen took a look. Wasn't this the bar girl he slept with last night? What's the situation? Being a bug in a survival game. Author, Kuan-Ke. Chapter 454. Why are you crazy? Qin Shen grabbed his hair, his face full of irritation. The bar girl sneered, "Ha, am I crazy? I'm here to settle the score. Use a bank card that can't withdraw money to trick me into sleeping with you. I've seen people who are stingy with money, but I've never seen such a scoundrel like you. If you don't give me an explanation today, I will sue you for raping a woman." The area of this small hotel is a mixed bag. There are countless men and women who come here every day to book rooms and have sex. Looking at this situation, what else don't you understand? Either the woman secretly took the money from the card and slandered the man, or the man really wanted to have sex for free and now the woman came to her door after the incident. There was also a good person who said loudly to Qin Shen, "Brother, don't come to play if you don't have money. After playing, you still want to have sex for free without paying. You are somewhat immoral." "Yes, yes." With a livid face, Qin Shen picked up the bank card and looked at the card number. He remembered correctly, there was indeed money in this card. So he decided that it was the barmaid who was beating him up. "There is money in the card, you took it away and you come to me for it? I'm not someone you can mess with," but it wasn't because he was embarrassed. Qin Shen wanted to get rid of his name directly. With that said, Qin Shen threw the bank card back again. "Eh? Isn't this Qin Shen from the Qin family? Why is he still here?" At this time, someone in the crowd recognized Qin Shen's identity. Qin Shen frowned and suddenly had an ominous premonition in his heart. He was not in the mood to quarrel with the bar girl anymore and wanted to leave here. But when the sharp-eyed bar girl saw that Qin Shen was about to run away, she quickly stopped him. "You're not allowed to leave. You won't give me an explanation. You don't want to go anywhere." The bar girl was extremely aggressive. Qin Shen had no choice but to get rid of the former, so he grabbed the remaining 1 or 2,000 yuan in cash in his wallet and threw it all on the ground. "If I give you these again, get out of here." "Bah! What a young man." Stingy, although the money was a little short, the bar girl saw that she had achieved her goal. He spared Qin Shen enough and quickly went to pick up the money. After getting rid of the bar girl, Qin Shen found the car he had stored for the night. As soon as he got in the car, Qin Shen's cell phone rang. "Who called me?" When Qin Shen saw the note, it was his brother Qin Ding, and the complaints immediately disappeared. Qin Shen answered the phone. "Elder brother. Where are you now? Come back quickly. Something happened to the Qin family." Qin Shen's face was confused. He wondered if he was not sober and had auditory hallucinations. He smiled and said, "Brother, are you kidding? You? Are you kidding? I'm not in the mood to joke with you right now. The Qin family is in trouble this time. You have to return to the Qin family within half an hour," Qin Ding roared, completely losing his usual calmness. Qin Shen swallowed. I'll be back soon. Beep. The call was hung up immediately. Qin Shen wanted to ask what happened, but it was too late to ask. What on earth, what happened? A dozen numbers of former friends cannot be dialed. The card given to the barmaid last night was questioned because it was frozen. And now, his brother Qin Ding called and said something happened to the Qin family. Qin Shen hurriedly started the car, but when he passed a bank, he hesitated for a moment, got out of the car, and checked all the cards in his wallet. No money. Why don't you have any money? Funds frozen. Qin Shen walked out of the bank in a daze. In the end, what happened?